Hello, welcome to this video. I'm a native, lived in Brazil for the last 35 years, and I study a lot. I study a lot how things works in the world and mainly here in my country. Okay, so I will explain for you that is a foreign how our political system works here and why there's so poverty in Brazil. Don't get developed country, a rich country. It's mainly because of the system we have here. Okay, so let's start explaining how the system as a whole works. Okay, in the government, we have here a president. Okay, we have the Congress, and we have the Senate, or the senators, don't know how you call this, that make the laws, and we have a Supreme Court. Okay, these four systems are used, would be independent, but in the reality we doesn't see this. Okay, here in Brazil the president doesn't have a lot of power. Okay, it's not like he can do a law and that's it. No, if he makes a law, okay, the president, if it has to pass in the Congress and in the Senate to be valid. But in Brazil, the president buys the Congress. It's just like this, okay? But for buying, even for buying, you have to have a lot of money. Brazil is not a rich country, okay? So how the politicians really buy even more the Congress and the Senate? Because it's a poor country using the public companies. It's another thing here that is very strong, the public companies. Brazilian politicians are very resistant to sell public companies. Why? Because they use these public companies to buy the Congress and the Senate, because the president nominates the leaders from these companies, and these leaders nominate other people that work there, and inside these companies we have a lot of money. Let me give you an example of one public very rich company, that is Petrobras. Petrobras is the main producer of gasoline, gas, oil in Brazil. Okay, and this company has so many money, and it gives a lot of profits and has so many jobs that the politicians sell place inside the company in exchange of power, in exchange of approving laws and things like this. Okay, so here in Brazil we have this propaganda that the government buys the media to convince the population that public companies are good things, that we cannot sell these companies, we cannot privatize these companies. And it's been like this in the last 100 years, okay? In the last 100 years, we have the state with so many companies. We have so many public companies in Brazil just because of this, because politicians can use to buy power. So we have this system that is so deep, so profoundly stable in this way of gaining even more power, and even going bigger and bigger in the side of expanding the state even more. Okay, in the other side we have this population that has been absorbing all these leftism media for the last 100 years, that people here is so leftist, it's like a national leftism. They are nationalists, but they want the state to solve everything. Many people here is not in favor of privatizing, selling public companies. So in Brazil we have this system. Okay, it's very difficult to change this system. Another big problem we have in Brazil is the concentration of power. Okay, that let me try to explain. Different from USA, when we have the public income going to the state, and every state has his own laws, and it's like a decentralized way of government. Here in Brazil, no. We have the same law for every country. The majority of the income goes to the federal government, and in the federal government, he can deal buying power, buying politicians, okay? We have this so much concentrate power and income in the hands of few people here in Brazil. That's what explains why Brazil doesn't go, doesn't grow and things like this. Because let me say, I don't like socialism. I don't like laws that, let me say, doesn't allow me to have a gun. Okay, I don't have option because the law is the same. The tax are basically the same in all the country. I don't have options to change, to go to another state. In USA, you have this free, decentralized, let me say, political way of governing that is different for Brazil. And in USA, you have this competition for the states. So if a state go up with tax, the companies go to the other state. Here in Brazil, the companies doesn't have option. Everything is very centralized in the central power. Okay, so that's how political system work. Is a political system that's very difficult from changing. It's stable, but stable in the bad way. Okay, it's stable in the way of giving even more power to the government, even more inflation, because government is a very bad money administrator. Okay, so government will always make shit with money, and it's very difficult from breaking the system. Bolsonaro was a different government that was in the power for only 4 years, and the system took him off with Supreme Court that is legislating, is doing so many things, absurd things, authoritarian things in Brazil. So in Brazil, you have this authoritarianism, this central power controlled thing, and really is not possible to change. Really, I truly understand and believe that it's impossible to change because the political system is so old, it's so solid, and the culture of the people is so old, it's so solid, that they have this thinking of the state has to do the things, and leftism is not something recent like Europe, that we have this increasing the leftism. There's relatively recent. Brazil has a leftism of over 100 years. It's so old, so that is impossible to change. Okay, so if you have some doubt, put in the comment. I will answer, and see you.